think right here. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're tuning in for the first time, I'm Jess and my business is Jessica R. Heath Photography. You can check out my Facebook, Instagram and website by clicking on the links that are down in the description. So what we're doing today, I'm doing a quick editing video just so you can kind of see the process that I go through with a few of the photos that I took with one of my favourite models to work with, Shirin, and her husband, Gareth. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. We went all the way up to this mountain. It took us about half an hour to get there. It was pretty nice actually, a nice drive. Little one-lane dirt road on top of this massive mountain range. So it was really nice. It was absolutely beautiful. The views were beautiful. We were a little bit worried that it was going to rain, but the rain held off for us, which was really nice. And it did give us some really nice cloud cover, so the lighting was absolutely perfect. And to the screen. Just brought these in from yesterday's session. We had a really good session and a lot of these photos are turning out really nice, so I'm really happy with them. But I'm just gonna show you a few edits. So yeah, these are the presets that I've made on a previous session with her. So they're just named Shirin and numbered. Yeah, I hope you really enjoy this video. It does go for a little while, so strap yourselves in. Absolutely love these shots. These shots have turned out so good. So we're gonna go ahead and put 7 on. It's a really intense preset. The oranges are obviously way too red. So first thing I'm gonna do is take my oranges back. I'm just gonna get my oranges where I want them. And I'm gonna take the saturation way back as well as the reds a little bit. Where's the luminance at? We'll leave the luminance there for now. I will bring the reds up to normal though. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring the lights up just a little bit in this one. And I'm going to bring my exposure up. And bring my blacks down. I'm referencing this shot here. So we're still just a little bit off. I'm going to change my temperature to go a little bit cooler. So what I'm looking for here is I'm matching the jacket at the moment. So we can see that the jacket here is a lot warmer than the jacket in this shot here. So that's what I'm referencing at the moment, just to try and get my shots looking really similar. So we need to bring this coolness down, and always looking at my skin tones as well to make sure that they're not going too cool. So that's a bit closer there. I might even go a little bit more. There's pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. So I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to go back to this. So that's looking really good right here at the moment. I'm just going to fiddle with it just a tiny bit more. I'm going to bring my highlights up, my blacks down again. Just want to try and get a tiny bit more contrast. Bring my exposure up. Might even bring my shadows down just to get that little bit of contrast. Yeah, I want them to match this here. And yeah, they're just a little bit too intense for me. So what I'm going to do is just go to my saturation and bring my blues back to 0, see where that takes us. That's pretty good. So awesome, that is done. Of course, I always come back and like double check it before I send it off to my clients. Usually I fiddle a tiny bit more with it, but I'm really happy with where that shot is. I will just, they're not really in the center here, so I'm just going to crop a tiny bit off the corner there, just to bring them closer to the center. Yeah. So that's a before and after. So I'm going to move on to, I'm going to have a play with this shot here. So this is an amazing shot of Shirin. This dress just fit her like a glove. She looks absolutely gorgeous in it. So really liking my settings. So at this point obviously I had my settings pretty good. So I'm going to put 7 on here. Again, it's a really intense preset. So we're going to have to fiddle a little bit just to get it back to where we want it. So take the oranges back. Take the oranges back. So already that's a little bit better. And I'm also going to bring the temperature down. So bring this up so I can match. Here I'm looking at the oranges here. So I'm going to bring coolness down. So that's probably pretty good. I might bring luminance up a little bit more. Not too much. I might actually bring my exposure up. I'm going to bring my shadows up. So with my shadows and my histogram, I can put this away for a little while. I'm really focusing on her face and her hair. I don't want to get her looking too ghostly or too over contrasted. So I'm going to actually bring my blacks up. Gets a bit better there. So obviously the blues are a bit too intense in this one as well, and you can see here that the saturation's been pushed up, so we'll bring that back to 0. That's way better. So obviously the clouds and the background is a lot cooler than this shot that we're referencing. So it's just still quite not there. Our skin tones aren't quite there just yet. They're still a little bit orange. So I'm just going to bring my hue back towards red just a tiny bit, maybe 5. Maybe 6. Oopsie-daisy, 7. We'll go 7. And also my reds, I'm looking at my reds as well. My reds are a little bit orange, so I'm going to bring my reds towards the pink side until I feel like there's a lot of red in her skin as well, as you can see. So I'm just going to bring the reds towards the pink side a little bit. There we go. That's a little bit closer. So yeah, the clouds are obviously a lot cooler. So we're not quite there with the oranges. As you can see, this is a little bit cooler. It doesn't quite have as much orange, so I might bring the oranges back a little bit more. I need to bring them a little bit cooler, I feel, again. So that's almost there with the oranges, but now as you can see the dress has gone really blue. So we can do one of two things here. You can decide to bring the temperature up a little bit higher, a little bit warmer. Or what I'm going to try and do is play with my blues here. So first of all, because they're so intense, I'm going to get the hue of them right before I bring the saturation to where I want it. So they're a little bit too blue, like too bright aqua. Even the aqua will come into play here. So yeah, that's actually mostly aqua. So we're going to bring aqua back to blue, and we're going to bring the blues down towards purple a little bit more. I'm going to match these hills here. That's what I'm matching, because this is going to be a lot darker and bluer than this. So we're going to match the hills. So that's almost, I feel like aqua needs to come up a bit more. I feel like that's pretty good there. So I'm going to bring the saturation down. There. But now that I brought the blues back, I feel like it does a lot better. I will bring it up just a teensy bit. Yeah, I like that. So that's where we're at so far. I really like that. I'm just gonna zoom in here and check that her face is nice and contrasted. Sometimes people's eyes, they can get really dark and shadowy. And I find bringing your shadows up just makes it look, I don't know, I don't really like bringing the shadows all the way up in some shots. And even your blacks, like you can bring your blacks up, but then you lose a lot of contrast. So what I do sometimes is I go to my brush tool here. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just gonna put that away so we have this full view. So I go up to my brush tool here, and I just brush just around the eyes, and it's gonna be really dark because it has like a brush preset on, and it's got all these different things on saturation way down. But it just helps you to see where you're actually brushing. So I'm not going to change that just for the moment. I'm just going to go around where it's darker where the shadow is really sitting. There we go. It's pretty good. What I'm going to do here, if you double click this effect, it will bring all of your settings back to 0 instead of going through and doing them all individually. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to bring the shadows slider just up. See how that it just brings her eyes up a bit. Now you want to watch, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit closer. And holding my spacebar down to move it around. You want to watch that you don't bring it too bright. You can see where the definite line is here of the brush, just because it's come up too bright. So you want to make sure that you're not bringing it too bright when you do it. No, actually I'm going to go back to this one. So shadows are at 61 at the moment, which is really high, so that's way too bright obviously. So I just bring them up just a little bit. I might even bring the highlights up and the exposure just a teensy bit, like 3. So I might even bring the shadows back down. No, I'm going to bring shadows up and exposure down. I can just still see that brush stroke here. Even what you can do is go to your eraser and just take that bottom line off where it's really being silly. There we go. So if you go right down to the bottom of your brush, there's a little slider here that will take the brush off and put it back on, so you can see the difference. So that's with the brush off, on. So it just brings it a little bit brighter. I might even bring the black slider up just a teensy bit. You can have a play here. So obviously your clarity is going to bring you contrast. I might bring my clarity down just a teensy bit. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. So that just really brings her eyes just a little bit brighter without losing that contrast in her hair and her face. I'm just going to straighten this. It's just a little bit off. We'll see what auto straighten does. Nope. Sometimes auto straighten gets it wrong. I just want to straighten her there. It's good. She's not quite in the center either. Now remember your thirds, so that's probably good there for my thirds. She's pretty close to being in the third there. Whereas if I do this, it's a little bit too close to being cut right through the middle. So I'm just going to bring it up, and we don't cut the bottom of the dress off, so that's good. I might even bring it in a little bit closer just so she's right in the center. And really bring it to the thirds there. So yeah, I'm not going to cut off my dress. So that's pretty good there. So that's before and after. All the other colours are fairly close. The blues are a little bit desaturated obviously, but all the other colours are fairly close to the original, which is what I usually try and achieve. A little bit more of a brighter area look. Yeah, and again I'll come back and fiddle with that again before I send it off to the client. But we'll just double check our reference photo. So it's pretty good. I could probably even bring the warmth up a little bit more. But again, this is where we're starting to, our oranges are starting to not quite be the same when we start bringing that warmth up too much. So I might just bring it down again, just a tiny bit. And I might just bring my luminance of my oranges down a little bit. Just because I feel like her face was just, I might even bring my reds up as well, because as we saw before, there's a lot of red in her skin tone. And I feel like the reds are just a little bit. So I'll bring the luminance of the reds up as well. There we go, that's better. Just check the saturation. Yeah, the saturation is super high on the red, so we'll bring that down again. Yeah, that's better. I'm liking that now. I might even bring the oranges back up a little bit. To 0, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, cool. So I'm just gonna go to this tie is, I just want to quickly touch on this. I won't edit this one here for you guys just because I want to do the last one and I've gone for quite a while already. But this tie, like, can we just appreciate for a moment? How awesome is that tie? Like even without editing, I absolutely love that shot. That tie is just, oh man, it's stellar. I love it. Okay, so we're gonna go through to this shot. I've just done a super quick cull, so I've taken like 500 photos down to 28, so there's obviously a lot more photos, but this photo here is my favorite shot in this whole thing. So these two shots are literally taken within like a minute of each other. They're standing in the same positions. I've just zoomed out on my lens and taken this shot and zoomed in and taken this shot. So the lighting is going to be pretty much identical. I haven't changed my settings or anything, so everything's going to be identical in the images. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this photo and I'm going to press Command C to copy my settings from this photo. Now you can go through here and click what you want to copy. Obviously I don't want any brushes, I don't want any transform or crop or spot removal, but I want pretty much everything else. And then I'm going to press copy. I'm going to go back to this image and I'm going to press Command V. I'm going to paste those settings into this image. So right away that has saved me fiddling. I'm just going to bring the exposure up. Again, I'm going to reference that photo just to make sure everything's the same. I'm going to bring my shadows up a teensy bit. And maybe my blacks up. Shadows up. Blacks down actually, I'm going to go. So yeah, boom, done within about 2 minutes. That's just a really quick and easy way to kind of burn through a bit of editing, especially if you have a lot of shots in the same spot with the same lighting and the same kind of settings. It's just going to make it so much easier for you. So there we go, that is before and after. This is my favorite shot by far. I'm going to say it again. It is such a beautiful shot. I really feel like they're about to drop like an awesome album and this is the cover. Like it's just that kind of shot. I love using prompts with all of my couples, so I will pose them a little bit, but most of the time I'm using prompts. This particular prompt that I used was, I got them to stand back to back and I said, so have you seen the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith? It's a spy movie where the husband and wife are spies and assassins, but they don't actually know that each other are a spy and assassin as well, working for an opposite company. But anyway, so the cover of that movie is them standing back to back looking like really, you know, spy and kind of blue steel look. So that was the prompt I gave them and this was what I got and it is just perfect. So many laughs and like, oh, we just had a ball. We just absolutely had a ball. So yeah, these two shots at the end here are probably my favorite, this one being my absolute favorite. So there we go. Just do a quick side by side. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you, got a little something out of that. If you do have any questions or anything that you would like to ask me, or if you would like me to cover something in Lightroom that you're not quite sure about, if I know it, I'm not by any means a professional. I'm just putting that out there. I am not a professional. I am completely self-taught. So it's really just been things that I've picked up. I have quite often looked up tutorials on YouTube. A lot of just random little things that I've picked up from everyone else that I've kind of watched and learned from. And it's also just been like me fiddling and learning what the sliders do, how they affect the photo, and just really playing and fiddling and kind of gaining an understanding of what I can do and how it affects the photo. So it's taken me 3 years of fiddling and learning, guys, to get to this point. So don't feel discouraged if you have absolutely no idea or you do something and you can't get. I've been there. I still go there quite often, like where I bring up a photo and I just cannot get it to where I want it. Oh, it's so frustrating, and I know. I completely know. So yeah, please don't get discouraged if it's not working for you, and just keep going, keep trying to learn. Yeah, ask people, like, please ask me something. If I know it, I will definitely cover it for you. If I don't, then I will try and like look up something and find something for you guys and let you know where that is so that you can go and look at it. But yeah, just keep learning. Don't give up. Push through it. It gets really frustrating sometimes, I know, believe me. You like get grey hairs trying to do this editing, and yeah, I totally get it. But you will get it eventually. You will find that style. It's just going to take a little while, and it's also all about your settings as well. I can't stress this enough. Your settings is going to make your editing a lot easier or a lot harder. If you have an overexposed photo or a seriously underexposed photo, you're gonna have a lot of trouble when you bring it into Lightroom and try to get the look that you want. So you want to, I pretty much shoot almost true to the light. I might go a tiny bit underexposed. If you go underexposed rather than overexposed, it's easier to bring the shadows up and you don't lose the detail in your highlights. Whereas if you overexpose, it is so difficult to get your photo back down. You lose a lot of detail in your highlights, especially in wedding photography. Your dress, if you have the white dress, if you overexpose, it's so difficult to get that detail in the dress. So yeah, I would underexpose if anything, but I try and kind of get it right on the mark. Obviously constantly your lighter will be changing and you have to change your settings and all that, and sometimes you get shots that are so overexposed or so underexposed and you have to sit there and fiddle with it for like an hour before you can get it to where you want it. So I hope you liked the video, guys. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and click the subscribe button down below. Yeah. So awkward. I'm so awkward. That was so awkward. Thank you.